The history of the Caribbean is often framed in a binary narrative: the Spanish as brutal oppressors and the Taino as innocent victims. However, this simplistic view overlooks the complexity of the region and the interactions between these groups. When the Spanish arrived, they encountered not a peaceful paradise, but a region with long-standing conflicts. The Taino, who lived in the Greater Antilles, had been dealing with raids from Carib groups in the Lesser Antilles, prompting many to form alliances with the Spanish. Christopher Columbus noted the scars on some of the Taino he encountered, remarking that they had defended themselves against raiders from neighboring islands. Journal, 1492. Dr. Diego Alvarez Chanca, a physician on Columbus's second voyage, documented the Caribs' cruelty, stating that they feasted on their captives and even consumed the children born from enslaved women. Letter, 1493. One of the most famous accounts of Spanish cruelty comes from Bartolomé de las Casas, a Dominican friar who portrayed himself as the greatest defender of natives. Las Casas' writings, however, often embellished events to fit his moral crusade. He is known for the story of Hatuey, a Taino leader who allegedly fled Hispaniola to warn the people of Cuba about the Spanish. According to Las Casas, Hatuey was captured, and when a friar asked if he would accept Christianity to go to heaven, Hatuey replied that he would rather go to hell than be with the Spanish. This story became a symbol of resistance, but it lacks corroboration. No other Taino or Spanish sources confirm Hatuey's defiant statement, and Las Casas himself was not an eyewitness. This raises doubts about the story's authenticity and whether it was crafted to bolster Las Casas' narrative of Spanish cruelty. Fray Toribio de Benavente, nicknamed Motolinia by natives, harshly criticized Las Casas for his exaggerations and divisive rhetoric. In his letter to the emperor on January 2, 1555, Motolinia wrote, "I'm astounded how your majesty and your councils have had to suffer so much time from such a burdensome man, anxious and inconvenient, and noisy and quarrelsome in his religious habit, and so on the edge and rude and insulting. He is always writing of processes and of lives far away, looking for evils and crimes throughout the land committed by the Spanish, in order to insult and add on wrongdoings and sins." Motolinia accused Las Casas of focusing on distant events and neglecting his religious duties, implying that his writings served more to stir controversy than to tell the truth. Motolinia's critique of Las Casas exposes the friar's tendency to inflate his accounts to create a moral drama, which in turn distorts the historical reality. Las Casas' portrayal of the Spanish as unilaterally oppressive and the indigenous as helpless victims oversimplifies a complex situation in which many Taino, like Enriquillo, a Taino leader in Hispaniola who initially resisted the Spanish, but later made peace and became integrated into Spanish society. Garionex, a cacique who resisted but was later baptized and Hispanicized. Juan Mateo, a Taino who converted to Christianity and became an intermediary between the Spanish and his people. And Diego Colón, a Taino who was baptized and served as a guide and translator for the Spanish, conquered space in Spanish society by forming strategic alliances and adapting to the new power structures. By placing Las Casas' writings in a critical light and recognizing the nuanced relationships between the Spanish and the indigenous peoples, we can move beyond the simplistic oppressor-victim narrative. As Motolinia pointed out, Las Casas' accounts were often more focused on provoking outrage than on providing an accurate representation of events. Understanding this helps us better appreciate the complexities of the Caribbean's history, where both Spanish and indigenous groups made strategic choices in a time of rapid change.